Hi, welcome back. Today I want to talk about. I came across a couple of interesting characters. I was reading on the internet about domestic terrorism, and I happened to come across the article about Ted Kaczynski. I mean, those who are not familiar with Ted Kaczynski, I'm sure you are, all are. He was known as the Unabomber. I think the FBI had took him like 17 years until they actually caught him, and he was a character for sure. At 16, he was in Harvard. At 25, he was a professor. He was a mathematical prodigy, which he was pretty smart person. Um, Unfortunately, he went in the wrong direction, and his life became a life of a terrorist. I don't in any way condone what he did. He was a terrorist. He killed people. But I did come across his manifesto, which I am reading. And I was kind of surprised that this happened about 30 years ago when he wrote the manifesto. And actually, I believe the New York Times and the Washington Post uh, published it, so it was accessible to everybody. And it was interesting the reading that he actually he had a lot of points of interest that were things that are happening today, and this was like 30 years ago. So he kind of saw what was going to happen in this country, and like I say, I don't condone him. I'm definitely not a fan of his, but his reading is definitely interesting, and I think if you want some interesting reading, it's something you definitely should read because you will get a lot of insight of what's going on in this country today. Uh, he was obsessed about the industrial and the technology advancements and how it was affecting the world and the U.S. and people in general. So yeah, if you get a chance, just read some of it. It's pretty interesting stuff. Um, Another person who is currently, well, Ted Kaczynski died recently, I think last year in 23, by I think by suicide. He had colon cancer or something. But anyway, uh, another person who is really interesting, who I feel has this finger on the pulse of the country, is Victor Davis Hanson. This is a gentleman who's uh, he's from the a member of the Hoover Institute, I believe. He's also he's written a lot of books, and he is definitely somebody who you should listen to. He's been on the news quite often. I've seen him, and I haven't read any of his books, but I will pick up some of his books and see which ones are interesting. But he definitely is somebody who has his finger on the pulse of the country. Um, then I want to talk about a little bit, you know, comedy in this country has always been a big part of our country. I mean, we always were able to laugh at ourselves, but now it's become so blasé. I mean, you can't make fun of anybody anymore. So it's kind of like killing comedy. I mean, you look at geniuses like Richard Pryor or Jerry Seinfeld. These, I thought it was great when we can laugh at ourselves. It's good. It's not bad. I mean, we're not perfect, and everybody knows we're not perfect. But when you start to take away comedy from the society, I don't know. It gets all real depressing and everything. So I one person who I really 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 like uh, as a comedian and also had good insight in what's going on in this country was George Carlin. He was my favorite. I loved him. This man, he really knew what was going on, and he was able to, just in his mannerisms, the way he was able to portray the daily situation and the government and people in general. he got it right. You know, everything, even from religion. I mean, he really, really was a genius. It's a shame that he's not with us anymore. But that's also somebody, I think, all of those, Richard Pryor and George Carlin, I think, you know, obviously we're lucky enough that we can see it, on the internet or on cable. So, yes, it's definitely something that you should, look into and just enjoy, how we used to laugh at each other, and we didn't all get upset about it and go to each other's throats and accuse everybody of all kinds of crazy stuff. So anyway, yeah, so that's all I have to say today. If you have any comments or anything, please send them to me. I'm more than welcome to reply to you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.